Hey there, Coach Micheal Burt. I hope you're having a great night. Happy Wednesday night to you. I'm here at the Greatness Factory, and I've got about 2 minutes left before we start the webinar. So thank you for joining me. I got a great topic tonight on how to get on bigger stages. How do you get on bigger stages? How do you take a stage and turn it into 70,000, 80,000, 100,000, maybe even a million at some point? So I'm going to show you tonight how to get on bigger stages. I do believe sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But the primary focus of tonight's webinar is to really show you what I've learned over the last 17 years, going from a high school basketball coach to building a multi-million-dollar coaching business. And I think one of the biggest things I have to offer you is I have who I've been coached by, what I've learned out on the road speaking 150 to 200 times per year, how we've taken the speaking and turned it into coaching, products, licensing, webinars, like how you package this is very, very critical to the equation. So tonight, I really have fun. Michael Colbridge, you should be good on your audio if you can hear me. I think you had this problem the other day. I got Dean Aiken. Okay, what's up, Rocky Garza? Tim Davis, what's up, big guy? Dean Aiken, Lakin Hibden on my sales team. Good to see you. We got a bunch of folks that are joining us, and make sure that I can hear you. If you can hear me, excuse me, make sure you can hear me. So if you can hear me, just raise your hand on there and let me know that you can hear me so we can get this party started. Okay, Rocky Garza says yes. So Michael Cudbrith, I don't know what's going on with your computer there, but it sounds like they can't hear me. So if you guys are ready to get started, I'm excited about this. I haven't coached people on how to speak, coach, train, lead. I didn't want to do that until I had built a successful business. We are now a multi-million-dollar coaching company. My goal is to get us to $10 million within the next year to 2 years. But I remember when we started and I was speaking for $350. I remember when I was speaking for free. I remember when I was a high school basketball coach and I was going over and speaking at local banquets to get people excited. I mean, so 17 years later, I've got all these experiences of being out there in the world and doing it. So tonight, I'm going to show you two things: how to get on bigger stages in the world. And if you have a song to sing and you have people to sing it to, you're going to have a desire to figure out how to get on bigger stages. Okay, you're going to have a desire to speak to more people. Now, you may love intimacy of small groups. I don't mind small groups. This week I've been, I spoke for a company and it was 30, 40 people. I've spoken for as small as 2 people, and I'm going to tell you a story about that. I've spoken to as large as 10,000 people. So, what I want to tell you is how do you get these stages, number one? And it really begins with understanding what we're going to talk about. And then once you get on the stage, how do you have the perfect product suite to convert that message to lots of money? And this was a big mistake I made for many years, is I could get on the stages, whether they be free or paid, but I didn't have anything big to sell. Okay, I didn't have something that could take a free stage and turn it into a $100,000 stage. I didn't have that. And thank goodness over the years, I've learned, I've gotten better. I built out a product suite. I'm getting better at how I pitch those services. So that's what I'm going to share with you. So thank you for joining me tonight. I suspect you do have something to say, and I suspect you do have people to say it too. I suspect you're here because you want to get on bigger stages and you want to build a product suite and you want to make money with your message. As I said earlier, I've spoken on stages as small as 2 people. Now you got to get in your brain what a stage is. Okay, and I'm going to come back to this, but a stage is just a platform. It's just the ability to get in front of people. Okay, so what if I told you one of the largest coaching contracts I ever signed was from a workshop I did that had 2 people in it? 2 people that paid $50 a piece. Maybe they paid $35 a piece. I did it at night, and the CEO of a $40 million company was in there, and she signed me what ultimately being a 4-year, $450,000 contract. And So that teaches you a valuable lesson. You got to get out of your brain that all the money is, I got to speak at a 10X. I got to be on stage for 10,000 people. Right now, we're calculating that if I'm on a stage that has 200 people and they're relatively qualified, that means they got some money. I'm offering 3 different products, a low ticketed, a medium ticketed, and a high ticketed, and we can convert that stage, free or not, to $70,000 to $150,000 of revenue for my company. So I wasn't thinking like this years ago, okay? So I want you to get in your brain that I've spoken on stages as small as 2 people, and that's okay. If they can buy something from you or hire you to be their coach or buy a product, it's okay to speak on stage with 2 people. Okay, and I've spoken on stages as big as 10,000. I've spoken on for free, so you got to get out of your brain that I don't do anything for free. In today's world, one of the best things you can do is for free. In a few weeks, I'm speaking in Las Vegas at a conference called the All In Conference. They're not paying any of the speakers, but they're guaranteeing us they're going to get 1,200 people in a room. And at that number of 1,200 people, we should be able to convert that to at least $100,000 to $200,000. So let me ask you a question. Would you speak for an hour for $200,000? And the answer is going to be yes. But how did I get on that stage? Me, Kevin Harrington, Dan Locke, Brad Lee. Okay, these are major players. How did I get on that stage? Because you can't create the 200,000 if you can't get on the stage. Okay, and the way I got on the stage is a personal relationship with Brad Lee. Brad Lee had a personal relationship with Rick Jordan. Brad Lee's fighting for him. He's like, man, you got to get Coach Burt on stage. You got to have this dude speak. I didn't even know who the guy was. I didn't even know where the conference was. I didn't even know there was a conference. So my point to you is we got to get you on the stage. Okay, we got to first get you on the stage, and I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. Okay, now tonight I'm going to tell you I'm making a very simple offer. I'm going to make it early in the presentation. I'm going to give it to you throughout the night. Is September 13th. I'm bringing in my media coach, Hank Norman from New York City. He's coached Grant Cardone, Mel Robbins, Steve Harvey, Tim Story. Okay, I'm bringing him in for a day at my lodge in Tennessee for $299. And tonight only, you can get a 2-for-1. You can get 2 people for the price of 1. So 2 of you can split it. You can get that at coachburt.com/baby star to big star. The event is called Baby Star to Big Star. And I did a podcast today with Hank Norman, and he will help you get clear about your message. He will help you build a compelling message. He will help you develop a concept that's strong enough that pulls people in, that gets you on the stages that you need to be on. Okay, so September 13th, you can go to coachburt.com/baby star to big star. And Lakin Hibden, you can type that in there. Lakin can also help you. She's on the webinar with us tonight. She's on our sales team, and she can help you. She can help enroll you in this Baby Star to Big Star concept. I'm telling you, I was paying $7,500 a month for Hank Norman to coach me on how to be vulnerable, how to tell a story, how to connect with an audience, how to have a story of origin, how to be more empathic to my audience, right? Like this is stuff you need to know. This is stuff you need to be coached on. So that's going to be the offer tonight, $299. You get 2 people in for the price of 1. That's September 13th at my beautiful lodge in Tennessee. Now, let's get down to business, guys. Anytime you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand and I'll be happy to call on you. Or you can just type the question in there. You got me here for the next 45 minutes or so. So take advantage of this and leverage your time with me. So many people ask me, Coach, how did you do this? How did you do this? Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I do this? Listen, you got it. You got me right here. So get your money's worth tonight, okay? Get your money's worth. Now, let's get this thing started. A stage is real simple. It's any platform where you can share your message. This is the first thing people got to understand, okay? It can be online. Like I'm doing a lot of online conferences. Why would I do online conferences? A podcast is a stage, a platform, right? It can be in person, okay? So it can be on a podcast. It can be online. It can be free as what we call a showcase event, okay? A showcase event, okay? So I want you to think about that. A showcase event is any opportunity for you to showcase your talents, okay? It can be free or it can be paid. Okay, that's a stage. So get in your brain that getting on a stage is not always speaking at a major conference. Sometimes it's hosting your own event, inviting people to that event. 2 weeks ago, I did an event with Dustin Black at my lodge, and we had about 100, 150 people there. I got up and gave a little talk. Then I interviewed him in a Q&A. We fed people. We let them have some drinks. And today I was meeting people from that event for our 25K level. So that was a stage. I created that stage, okay? When I'm doing a podcast, Super Coach, that's a stage. When I'm doing person of interest and interviewing people, that's a stage. So it can be online, it can be in person, it can be free, it can be paid. Some of the most money I've ever made has been low-ticketed things. It wasn't where they paid my full speaking fee. I got up there, I spoke for free. I spoke for free at 10X, guys. Okay, every speaker, for most of the speakers spoke for free, but I think we've made $1 million as a result of me speaking at 10X. I know we've made at least 750,000 from me speaking at 10X. So what does that tell you? What if I can get on 20 stages with 10,000 people, right? Could we make $20 million? So the stages is what, for as long as I can remember, all of the big contracts I have ever signed, every six-figure contract I have ever signed, every 25K and above member I've ever signed, every big thing I've ever done started on a stage. It started with me speaking. Think of yourself like an entertainer. Entertainers make the most money when they go on tour. When they go on tour, they sell more t-shirts, they sell more downloads, they sell more, right? Like that, that's why they have to go on tour. So for you, you got to understand, the goal is to understand that all the money you're looking for, all the opportunity you're looking for, okay, everything that you're looking for, okay, everything that you're looking for is on the stage, okay, everything that you're looking for is on the stage, all the connections, all the people, all the everything. Okay, now I want to make sure you can hear me. It looks like James Hickman is having a hard time hearing me. Lakin Hibden, type in there if you can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, just type in there, because James Hickman's having a problem. And James, put your phone number in there, and Lakin Hibden on my team will call you and walk you through what you can do, okay, if you're having a problem hearing me, okay? Now, here's what I'm trying to get across to you. All the connections you're looking for, right? All the connections you're looking for are out there. We just got to get in front of them, because all the money that's in your pocket today started in the pocket of another person. Like money left their pocket and came to you. Okay? So this one's valuable. If you're Micheal Burt and you're selling financial services, getting in front of people, articulating your value, letting them see how good you are. If you're Rocky Garza and you got a message, getting in front of people, articulating your value. The problem is when you don't have anything else to sell, right, Jesse Cole? When you don't have anything else to sell, all you get paid with is the applause, and that ain't enough. That's what I used to get paid with, the applause, because I didn't have anything to push them to. I didn't have anything to sell them to. And then I had a book, and I made a couple $100, and I made a couple $1,000, but I didn't make a couple $100,000 like we are today, okay? So the stage is incredibly valuable. I believe almost every big contract you're ever going to sign comes from a stage. When you get in front of people and you share your message with them and they like what you have to say, there's two things you need to say at the end. If you like what I had to say today, thank you. If you want more of what I had to say today, come see me. Now, I am now giving 3 options. Now, some people like this and some people don't like it. But I say at the end of my talk, hey, if you like what I said today, thank you. If you want more or me to be your coach, you can purchase my online academy for $99 a month or $199, depending on where we are. You can get coached by me and Monster Producer for $399 per month, okay? Or you can get personal access to me for strategy for $25,000 a year, okay? Okay, and I'm convinced we can get 160 of those people. We've signed up 4 to 6 over the last week. That's $4 million, guys. Okay, all of it started there. Biggest mistake I made at 10X is I only made one offer for $497. I should have said, if you want personal access to me, you can get it for $25,000 a year or 50 or whatever the case may be. But I only had one low ticketed offer. And when you only have one offer, you knock out people that want more. Like, I don't want the online academy. I want you. Like I hear you, Ken Johnson, and I want a relationship with you. So how much is it going to cost for me to have you? Okay. That's what you need. Okay. Now, the stage is valuable because it gives you a platform. So for years, I made this mistake, Jeff Jackson and Cecilia. I don't want you to make this mistake. I would win the stage only to get paid in applause in book sales. Now, if you don't even have a book, that's the first place to start. Okay. If you like what I said, thank you. If you want more of what I said, buy my book, if that's all you got. But you don't even have that. Okay. If you don't have the book, I want you to start thinking in your mind, I'm going to win the stage. I'm going to get on that stage. I'm going to give tremendous value. Then I'm going to have a coaching program that's a residual, or a product I can sell that's a residual. I'm going to sell them something for my product suite because they want more of me. I don't think a stage can change a person's life. I don't care how good you are. An hour, it's very hard to change a person's life in an hour. What changes their life is the year where they spend with you in your coaching program, refining your content. That's where you change their life. Well, what if you don't have the year program? You don't have anything to sell them. It's just 1 hour, and then it was good, and I loved it, and now I moved on to something else. So it would take me years, guys, to build out the perfect product suite to offer from my talks that was in alignment with the problem. Now, this is the first big teaching point I want to make to you. It would take me years to build out the perfect product suite to offer for my talks that was in alignment with a problem I was solving for the audience, so that I could take a free stage and turn it into a paid stage. It took me years to figure this out. So my strategy first was, I had a book. I was a coach, successful basketball coach. People were asking me what I was doing. I wrote a book on what I was doing. The book I wrote was for coaches, but I couldn't sell it to coaches, which is funny. Business people bought it, and business people bought it. They said, will you come out and speak to my group? Now, what problem are we solving? So here's the first thing you need to know. First thing you need to know to get on bigger stages is we need a problem. We hands when problems are solved. You're not going to get on a stage and speak because you got a bunch of energy, or you got a good concept, or you got a little story that you want to tell. Like, you need a problem. Okay, like my book, $1 Million Follow-Up, solves a problem. It shows you a 7 to 15 touch system. Person of interest solves a problem. How do you become a person of interest? Inside the Mind of a Monster shows you the habits and mindsets and productivity of big time people. Okay, Single Digit Millionaire, the book I'm writing right now, it shows you how to get your net worth between $1 and $10 million, how you can go from here to there. Prey Drive, how to activate the prey drive in you and your team, is one of my most popular talks right now. That activates the engine in people. So who do you think would want that? Any manager, any owner of a company, any sales leader, they want the prey drive activated of their team members. That solves a problem. Okay, so you get on a stage for one reason, because you can solve a problem for somebody else. Who could you solve the problem for? Number one, the economic buyer. Now, this is interesting. A guy hired me today to be his coach, $25,000 level, and his company paid for him to be at my 25K level. And I talked to the CEO of the company, and the CEO of the company gave me some feedback. He's the economic buyer. When a person hires you to come in and speak to their people, the person writing the check is the economic buyer. So let's say Tim Davis hires me to come in and speak to his group, and he's like, look, coach, these people are soft. I need you to toughen them up. I need you to give them that talk on prey drive. Okay? I may go in and push those people incredibly hard. They may not like it, but he loved it. He is the person writing the check. He may say, oh, I loved it. They may go, oh my gosh, this was so uncomfortable. Like, I spoke at a mortgage company today, and I'm telling you, some of those people didn't like it. I pushed so hard on them, but I looked over there at the person writing the check, and oh yeah, they was like, oh yeah, come on. Give it to them, coach. Give it to them. So here's the deal. The person you got to make happy is the economic buyer. That's one person. So what's the problem you got? And how can I solve it? And how can I get on a stage? And a stage could be for free. Like, how can I get in front of your people? We go to car dealerships many times, and we say, hey man, Coach Burt will come in and do 30. Here's how we say it. I think I can get Coach Burt to do 30 minutes at your next sales meeting if he's available. He typically charges as much as $25,000 for an hour to come in and speak, but I think we can get him to do it for free. Now, why would we do that? You're sitting there going, why would we do it? Well, what if we sign him to a $40,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 contract because of that free 30 minutes? So if I were you, and I was trying to build my speaking career, or I was trying to monetize, I'd be speaking at everything. I'd be speaking at everything I could speak at. I'd be speaking at church. I'd be speaking at Rotary clubs, exchange clubs, anywhere they would have me, I would be speaking, because all the money you're looking for is in the pockets of other people when you solve a problem for them. Okay, so you really got to get this concept. So there's three problems you got to solve for three people. One, the economic buyer. You figure out who's writing the check, and can they what do they want? How do you solve their problem? Number two, the meeting planner. Okay, and a lot of people hire meeting planners, but at the end of the day, the economic buyer writes the check. If I hire a planner, they're going to bring me 5 names. I'm probably going to tell them, no, this is the dude I want, or this is the woman I want. Go get them. How much does it cost me? The audience members. Okay, the reason you want to win over the audience members is because 16% of those people are going to buy something from you if you're good. Maybe more. Maybe it's 16 to 30% if you're really good. Okay, so what do you have to sell those people? Okay, so here's what I would tell you. Energy, personality, Instagram can all get you on a stage. You can find somebody out there who will bring you in to speak. Energy, personality, and pretending to be somebody famous on Instagram can get you on a stage, but you'll never earn the big money. Don't miss this. You will never earn the big money, okay, until you solve a real problem for the audience and you have a product that they can purchase when you speak. Remember what I said. If you like what I said, okay, if you like what I said tonight, Dean Aiken, thank you. If you want more of what I said and me to be your personal coach, then sign up for this. Buy this. Purchase this. I don't think I could change a person's life in an hour. I do think I could change a person's life in a year of me working with you, right, Kerry Jeffers? So you use the stage for one reason. I learned this really from Russell Brunson, to be honest with you. Russell Brunson said he used to go in and speak believing that he had to spend his whole hour telling people everything he knew, teaching people something. Then one of his mentors says, no, you got this all mixed up. You're not going to teach them everything you know in an hour. All you're going to do in that hour is open their mind to new possibility, make them hungry and thirsty for what it is you have. That's what you're going to do in that hour. You're going to enthuse them. You're going to excite them. You're going to open their mind. Then they're going to want to buy your product. Okay? So let's talk about getting the stages. Any questions for me right here? Remember, I'm pushing you guys to a one-day event with me, September the 13th, at my lodge in Tennessee, 8:30 to 2, with my media coach, Hank Norman, media coach to the stars. If you've ever wanted to share a story, if you've ever wanted to speak on bigger stages, if you've ever thought that I could monetize this, you need to be at that event, guys. I'm telling you, it's $299. Go to coachburt.com/baby star to big star. You get 2 people in tonight if you take action, okay? But you got to be coached by this dude. He did a great job with me. I had a real problem being vulnerable. When I first started speaking, I wouldn't tell the hard stuff about my life. I wouldn't be vulnerable, and I had a low empathic score from people. Like I seemed very insensitive, like a machine, like I never had any issues or problems, and a lot of people just couldn't relate to that, man. They just couldn't relate to it. So Hank Norman coached me in how to be vulnerable, in how to do that. Okay. Now to get on the stage, let's talk about getting on the stages. And if you got any questions, let's see, Rocky Garza, can we get that event? Yes, you can get that event. It will be recorded, Rocky. Lake and Hibden can work with you, who's on my team. She's on here tonight. And we will record the event, and you do need to get it because I do think it'll really, really help you. He's hardcore, man. He even today when I interviewed Hank Norman, I was talking about prey drive and activating and what all the big time people have. And he talked about this empathic drive that lots of great connectors can truly feel the pain of the audience. They can truly, connect to an audience in a different way. So I thought it was a huge takeaway. Now, how do we get on the stage? How do we win these stages? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, I paid $12,000 and I went to Denver, Colorado, and I spent 2 days with a gentleman that has spent 17 years learning a strategy to get on these stages. Okay. I took my team, my chief operating officer, and my person. I have one person on my team that does nothing, well, a few other things, but her main responsibility is to get me on bigger stages. That's our main responsibility. So we went there, we learned a formula. We are now executing that formula for 2020. I'm going to get on 24 stages. We calculate every stage is worth 70,000. That's $2 million. Okay, to speak 24 times. Okay, now, because we know the formula. I didn't know the formula. I paid $12,000 to learn the formula. Okay, so you got to be willing to invest in yourself if you want to learn how to do these things. Okay, don't let people fool you. When they say there are no secrets, they're lying to you. There are secrets. People do know. So how do you get on these stages? Number one, what's the problem you're solving and for whom? I think you got to get clear on this. When I wrote my first book, Changing Lives Through Coaching, I didn't really have a problem I was solving. When I wrote The Inspirational Leader, my second book, did it really solve a problem? No. When I wrote This Ain't No Practice Life, I'm starting to solve a problem. Now I write books to solve a problem. Okay? What demonstrated capacity do you have solving that problem? Like, how can you say, I went from here to here, and I'd like to show you how to do it? I went from here to here, and I'd like to show you how to do it. Okay? What makes you uniquely qualified to solve this problem? Now, this is interesting because you're competing versus other people to get on stages, okay? And something has got to win them over. Is it your energy? Is it your storytelling ability? Is it your skill set? Like a few years ago at a mortgage conference, Frank Abagnale was the keynote speaker. I was one of the speakers. He was the keynote speaker. And he was the person that they made the movie about, Catch Me If You Can. And he figured out all these clever ways to trick the system, and he pretended to be a doctor and an airline pilot and a college professor, and I mean all these things. Crazy, right? That's an interesting story. Like, how did you do that, man? How did you fly a plane? Like, pretending to fly a plane, like that's easy. Okay, I'm the person that they made the movie Catch Me If You Can. What about Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street? Now he's speaking, probably making lots of money speaking. That movie made him famous. So unless you've done something big, you've climbed to the top of Mount Everest, you've won something, you've created something, you've built something. Like when I'm bringing Matt Monero in a few weeks to speak to my group at this conference I'm doing with him, I mean, he went from zero to $200 million. Okay, I was sitting with the guy today that was going to sell his company for $85 million. So for you, if you've done something unique, then it's like, this is what people are constantly asking me about. That should be a speaking topic, okay? So how do you take this concept of this problem that you're solving and get it to people who can book you on the stage? Here's the problem. Here's my solution to the problem. Here's how I can get on stages. So let's start with speaking for free. If you're not speaking currently, I want you to start thinking that I need to be speaking to do one thing: hone my muscle. Hone my muscle. My first speaking engagement, I went back to my local university where I went to college. I called one of the professors and I said, hey, I'm coaching basketball. We just came off a 28-3 season. I'm a graduate of the university. I'd love to come back and speak to your students. And he said, sure, we'd love to have you come back. And I went over there and I gave a talk called This Ain't No Practice Life. He asked me, what's the talk going to be about? And I said, this ain't no practice life. This ain't no practice life. He's like, sounds good. I went over, I spoke, I gave a message. It went well. He said, you know what? I'd like you to come back every semester. I took the second time I went back and I filmed it, not professionally filmed it, set a camera in the back of the room, filmed the presentation, and I sent that presentation to a company called SkillPath. Now, don't miss this part of the equation. SkillPath is the largest provider of seminars in the country. They host 3,000 seminars a month, or at least they did in those days. They do all the marketing, they do all the planning, they bombard a city, and they have a topic: how to excel as a first-time manager. And I sent them my video. And I said, I'd like to be one of your speakers, one of your trainers is what they called them. And I went to Kansas. I went through an audition. It was incredibly nerve-wracking. I had to get up and practice and give them my speech. They filmed it. And then they called me 2 or 3 weeks later and they said, we think you're good enough to do this. When can we book you? And they paid me $250 per day. Okay, I want you to hear that. They gave me a $40 per diem. This is back in the days there was no iPhones or Google Maps or Instagram. And I would go into cities, and I did 60 of those in 2 years. Full day seminars in little bitty towns around Meridian, Mississippi, Plattsburgh, New York, Florence, Alabama, like ridiculous little cities with 4 or 5 people. But here's the point. When I did that for 4 or 5 people, do you know how good you have to be to entertain people for 8 hours in somebody else's content that ain't even your content? Like, that was going to college. That was going to speaking school. I look at that as they were paying me to go learn how to speak and entertain people. I called it edutainment. So we had fun, and I taught them something, and I sold other people's books. I didn't even have any books to sell. So I'd speak all day and sell Stephen Covey's books or John Maxwell's books or so-and-so's books. And finally, after 60 of those, 60 days, I said, man, I could do this on my own. Like, I don't need Skill Path. I just got to figure out how to book people. So for you, you need to be on the rubber chicken circuit. You need to be speaking any chance you get. You need, if you're looking for something like that, Skill Path, because people constantly come to me saying, hey, do you hire other speakers, or do you do this? I'm like, man, you got to get better. You got to get better. It don't matter how smart you are. You can't connect to the audience. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you connect. It's the packaging of your content that gets people to move. So I work for Skill Path, and that really launched my speaking career. But I knew that I could do better. I knew I could get on stages. You need practice and refinement. You need practice and refinement, okay? And you need a problem. You need to solve a problem for the marketplace. So when you're thinking about this concept, okay, when you're thinking about this concept, my first concept was changing lives through coaching, wasn't strong enough. Second concept was called the inspirational leader, too soft, not strong enough. My third concept was this ain't no practice life. You only get one life, man, and that's it. And I wrote a book on that. Now we're getting to a concept that people go, I want to hear him talk about that. But it was motivational. It didn't really solve a problem other than get you jacked up and get you excited. So just remember this, how strong is your concept? A few years ago, I was trying to get on either Today Show or Good Morning America. And I was in New York City with my media coach, Hank Norman, and he took me over to the studios where they filmed Good Morning America. And his wife was one of the producers of Good Morning America. And I pitched him 2 or 3 concepts. Like imagine getting on Good Morning America every day, what that would do for your business. And they kept saying the same thing, E. White. The concept ain't strong enough. The concept is not strong enough. The concept is not strong enough. Here's one thing you really need to know. Before you become famous, and I know all of you are going to become known and famous in the world, before you are famous, you need a concept that becomes famous. It's like having a hit song. Like, I don't know who the artist is, but man, I like that song. Because I like that song, I like that artist. My first business coach told me this: before you become famous, coach, create incredible concepts. Position by concept. So if you're looking to speak, you need a concept. Here's my concept. This ain't no practice life. What are you going to learn in this concept? 7 decisions going to change your whole life that you got to make. Here, I got 7 ways to manifest those 7 decisions. My new book out, The Accountable Church, how to get and keep the attention of churchgoers in a Red Bull ADD society. That book is about engagement, how to build something engaging. I'm going to sell it to people, not even church. I'm going to sell it to church people and people. I'm going to say, if you're building anything that's big, that you need to keep people coming back over and over and over and over, you need to buy this book. You need to buy this book because it can help you. Okay, so here's the deal. Now I got to figure out, how do I get on stages in the religious world, in the spiritual world? How do I speak at conferences in the spiritual world? How do I go in and work with? How do I work with people? You know, how do I work with that industry, right? Like, how do I work with that industry? So I brought in a person. I said, man, what do I need to do? So here's what we're doing. We're creating a stage. I'm going to do a lunch and learn for all the pastors in Middle Tennessee. I'm going to feed them. I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to talk about the accountable church. I'm going to talk about how to build something dynamic. And then I'm going to have, guess what I'm going to have, Dean Aiken? I'm going to have something to push them to. Pastor Plus, full day coaching with me. Then we'll have a coaching program for pastors. Like, right? Like, if you don't have anything to push them to, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble. So here's a question. How strong is your concept? I know in our last webinar, some of you put your concept in there, but you need a concept. And just because it's unique to you doesn't mean it's unique to other people. Like I see people come up with concepts, they're just not strong enough. Like they're just not strong enough. Like 10X is a strong concept. The 4-hour work week is a strong concept. Okay, these are strong concepts. Radical prospecting is a strong concept. I mean, you need like a concept that people go, I got to have that guy come in and talk about that. Like profit first is a big concept. Okay, so I may say, look, I want that dude who wrote Profit First to come in and speak to my team. I want the person who, like I'm doing stuff with Brian Page. Brian Page is a guy who has figured out how to help people earn 6 figures and above with Airbnb properties that they don't own, right? Like I go to a person, I rent the property, and I turn around and re-rent the property. I rent it for $2,000, end up making $6,000. I do that with 10 properties, $4,000, right? I'm making $40,000 a month. I'm making $480,000 a year. Like he come up with that concept, okay? How to earn 6 figures with Airbnb when you don't even own the properties. Brian Page. So now he's doing webinars, and they told me the other day his webinars are worth $100,000. He's doing a pre-record. I did one with him, pre-recorded webinar. He's not even on there with you. You do your part. You push it to your list. He comes on automated, and he's already done it, and then, right? Then he's got a $1,000 product at the end that you can purchase. His course on how to do this. That's a stage, okay? So how strong is your concept? Then if it ain't strong enough, the market's gonna tell you, it's like, man, that ain't strong enough. We just did a new one sheet, and I don't think the concepts I have on there are strong enough. I think they got to get much stronger. They're kind of generic. It needs to be Coach Burt is America's coach. He's the #1 coach in the world. He's a former championship women's basketball coach. He spent his whole life engineering people to win. He knows how to activate the prey drive in a person better than anybody on planet Earth and Mars. Okay, that's how strong it needs to be. That strong. Like out of all the people you could bring, this is the dude you got to bring in. You got to be able to say that. Okay, so let me ask you this: do you have a one sheet? And a one sheet is a sheet that outlines the problem, how you're the solution, your background, and a call to action. So if you want to get one of my one sheets, let me know. Email Eric White, eric@coachburt.com, or lakin@coachburt.com, and I'll send you my new one sheet on the accountable church. Here's the problem: 10,000 churches are dying every year. Here's a solution. Here's a way to build a dynamic organization that keeps people coming back over and over and over. Problem, solution. Okay, your one sheet, then it has who is Coach Burt? What makes him qualified to write this book? Why would church leaders listen to him? Okay, now, do you have a one sheet? If you don't have a one sheet, what are you going to send me? So let's say I say, Michael Cutbrith, I'm thinking about bringing you in to speak to my team. Now, what exactly are you going to talk about? How much is it going to cost me? Where can I find some information about this? Like, can you send over your one sheet? You send over the one sheet. Do you have a speaking video? Do you have a website? Like if you're running a web company and you don't have your own website, man, what's up with that? Do you have a good graphic designer? See these graphics behind me? Taking graphics, packaging them up, pushing them out. Is it dynamic? Okay, now, any questions? I'm gonna stop right here and ask, are there any questions at this point? And if there are any questions, okay, I'm gonna call on a person here. Jesse Cole, what are you learning from tonight's webinar? What question can I answer for you?
Yeah, I was just actually typing you, man. So it's interesting that you plugged into me. So my question is, at what point does a strong concept become a lie? Like meaning, if I were to say, I'm the #1 faith and business coach in the world, like who determines that? Did I win an award for that? Did I get certified for that? So at what point does that become a lie? Especially for somebody like me who works with faith and business leaders under a kingdom concept, where God is CEO of everything we do. At what point does your strong concept become a lie?
All right, that's a good question. Now, you know Tony Evans?
Yes.
All right. Now, and what's the concept Tony Evans come up? Kingdom Man?
Yeah, he has several, but I think Kingdom Man is one of his best-selling books. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, have you seen Tony Evans? Have you seen Tony Evans speak on Kingdom Man?
I watched the video.
Yeah. So, it's a great question that you ask. who's the best in the world is like who's the greatest of all time. It's like it's debatable.
Yeah.
What I think you got to be able to say is I've spent like you heard me say I started coaching when I was 15 years old. I'm 42. For 27 years I've been coaching people with a deep methodology and how to enter engineer them, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Now, what I can say to people is this, and I can say this. I can say I'm consistently ranked one of the top 3 speakers on every major conference I've ever spoken at. And that's statistically proven, like we get feedback from the stage. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, that's a strong statement, but it's a true statement.
You can back it
Now,
up with facts.
I can back it up with facts. Or if you've been voted, well, one time a person said this about one of my talks. They said I gave more power statements in a 1 hour talk than any speaker they'd ever seen. So what they're saying is he gave more statements that punched me than anybody I'd ever seen in my life. Now, what I did is I went out and I spoke 41 times, Jesse, in one day. I did 41 businesses in a day to say I hold the record on most businesses spoken to in a day for 41. And when they read that in my bio, people are like, oh my God, how'd you do 41 deals? How'd you do 41 engagements in a day? And it really wasn't that hard. I just went from business. We set it up. I went from business to business to business to business. And actually we could have done 80. But the reason you need these claims, Jesse, is because let's say I'm looking at Jesse Cole and Ken Johnson and Michael Cutbrith and James Hickman and whoever. Let's say I'm looking at you and Tony Evans and Jensen Franklin and Stephen Furtick and Joel Osteen. I got to have something that says Jesse Cole is a guy we got to have at this conference. I got to have something that says this is the dude. So you have to carve out a specific niche where people go, when it comes to this, there ain't nobody better than this dude right here. Right? Does that make sense?
It does. My biggest concern was teetering on self-promotion and lying. You know what I'm saying? So making sure, like you said, you can back that up with facts. So for me to say I'm the number one speaker on faith and business in the world, like there's no way I can back that up.
Well, I think you just need to say something that you feel comfortable backing up.
Right. I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying that for me to put that in my bio and in my stuff, like that would be telling a lie just to try to attract more business. So
maybe it's not a lie though. Maybe it's the truth.
It could be.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I do think you have to be bold. I think too many people are too lukewarm with their marketing. Yeah. And I think you got to be able to say, I spent my whole life preparing for this. Like you could say I'm the most qualified person on this subject, but you got to find something that you feel comfortable with that you don't feel like. Because of my coaching background, I was a championship coach. I can say there's a lot of people that ain't won anything. They hadn't built a multi-million-dollar business. They haven't done this. They haven't done what they're telling you to do. I have done what I'm telling you to do. And so, that's one thing that I say, but I think you got to be bold, but you got to say something that you feel comfortable with, that you don't feel like you're misleading people. That's good. Great question, Jesse. Thank you. All right. Let me ask one more question here. We're taking a little break and we're letting ask questions. Ken Johnson, you're up. What are you taking away from tonight? What can I answer for you? Your microphone's on, Ken. All you got to do is talk. All right, let me go to one more. Rocky Garza, what's up, big guy?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good.
What are you taking away from tonight?
Yeah, so one, I love all of this. I've been speaking for 15 years, both in ministry and now in the corporate space. And, I think especially in the last 4 or 5 years, I know I can connect with people. I'm vulnerable. I have a message, and I'm creating a space, especially on a stage, where what I look like and what I say and my experience is not what people expect, specifically in the corporate world. And so I think the resounding phrase that comes up over and over and over is, I hear people say, I didn't realize the window to my soul was open when I came to work today, but now I realize it's open all the way. And I didn't even know what was happening to me while it was happening. So, the phrase soul shaker is something that other people have used about the experience they have. And so I think for me, it's, I've never claimed, I'm not a business expert, a scale expert. The reason I'm watching this webinar is because I don't even have a product to sell you other than to pay me to get back on a stage. And so I think that's the hang up where I am now, is I don't really have any products, and I can speak, I can connect. People like it. Once I get hired, I always get hired to come back and do something else. I don't have anything to sell you, and I don't feel like I have a hook or a line to compete necessarily with a scale to speed. You need more money, pray drive.
Yeah.
I haven't found the connection between shaking your soul and exactly what that does for your business. But the corporate world is the people who are hiring me, and they're the ones who keep writing checks. And so I know that they want it and they love it and they enjoy it. I think I struggle to figure out how to tie my concept or message back to a results ROI bottom line for the person who writes the check normally is in. It's the person who they're getting approved to write that check or more checks is the one that we're trying to hook. And at times that's where I struggle.
Okay, good. All right. So let me address that right there. Then we're going to get going. So Rocky, thank you for that. And I do agree. You got a great message. You're very vulnerable. You connect well with the audience. Here's what I would tell you. And Tim Story is a guy that I would really study if I were you. Tim Story is a started Congregation Church, celebrity life coach, speaks at a very high fee, but got a deep spiritual side to him, connects well. He would be a person who's a good friend of mine. He and I are going on tour next year. We're doing 7 cities, and we came up with this concept. He says, don't let life knock the shout out of you. And his first original message was setback to comeback. He was a comeback coach. So he coached Robert Downey Jr., anybody in Hollywood, Kanye West that has had problems, and helping them come back from their problems. So he had this phrase, don't let life knock the shout out of you, or when life knocks the shout out of you. And he and I were doing stuff last year, and I'm like, Tim, we got to do a tour, man. Let's pick 7 hot cities. Let's get 150 people in a room. Now, let me show you something. This is very important. Let's get 150 to 500 people in a room paying $299 a piece. If we get, okay, when we did the math on that, the earning potential of that was 1.2 million, with he and I both making between 400 and 500,000 for a 7-city tour on that concept. Don't let life knock the shout out of you. And it's, if you ever been knocked down, think about the marketing. If you've ever been knocked down, beat down, frustrated, want to give up, want to go, right? So that's a powerful concept. Don't let, now, he didn't think to put that tour on. I saw that concept and I'm like, Tim, that's the name of the tour, man. Don't let life knock the shout out of you. And what we're going to do, Rocky, is go to mega churches, because he's very popular in the church world. We're going to bring in a mega pastor to speak in each of these cities, Miami, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Dallas, and then they will help us push 300 or 400 people to these conferences at a low ticketed price. Okay. So what I would tell Rocky is you need something. I think you can open a person's mind in an hour. I don't know how much you can change their life in an hour. I think you change their life, Rocky, when you say, hey, if you like what I said today, thank you. If you want more of what I said, get in my coaching program. And I'm taking 10 people at 5,000 a person. And you turn that one engagement into 50,000. Boom, just like that. That's what you need. And that could be, you don't need a bunch of collateral. It's just, hey, Tim Story did this at our retreat in Vero Beach. Hey, if you like what I said, thank you. If you want, today only, I'm taking 10 people that I'm personally going to coach, 6 sessions, 5,000 a person, and he signed up 10 people. Boom, like that. 50,000 bucks. Boom, like that. Now I had to do the coaching. So you got to make up your mind if you want to coach people like that. Like, I don't coach a person one-to-one unless they get to the 25,000 level with me. They get strategy sessions with me at the 25K level. And we've got 50 of those maybe. And we signed up 4 or 5 this week. So I say, Rocky, if you like what I said today, thank you. If you want more, there's 3 ways. You can get my online academy and be trained every single day by me for $99 a month. You can get it right now. It's typically $199. You get it for $99 today. You can sign up for my coaching program where you get a one-to-one coach, Monday accountability sessions with me in a group setting, up to 7 times to learn from me in a month. That with me, fly on the plane with me, ride on the bus with me. Me do strategy with you each month, then it's 25,000. Now, which one of those would you like? And people will come to the table and they go, I would like that option. I would like that option. We got a sales team there selling it. Okay. Now, all great questions, but I think you got something special, Rocky. We just got to help you package that up and sell it. Now, to get on the stage, okay, I got just a few things. It's 8:46, so we're running right along here. Man, I typed up a bunch of stuff for this. To get on a stage, there has to be a sales cycle. Like, I have 4 people, 5 people selling for me all day, every day. And that ain't enough, man. I need 50 people. I don't need, but if you ain't even got one person, if you don't even have one person, then you don't have anybody selling for you other than you. So we make 80 to 100 phone calls a day with 3 of my sales team members. Okay. So we're making 240 calls a day, every day, outbound. Then I got one person that does nothing to try to get me on bigger stages. So to really sell this coaching program and get on stages, you got to have a sales cycle, which means you got to have a hit list. So I am picking which stages I want to be on in 2020. And I'm going to Chelsea Colbert and I'm like, Chelsea, these are the stages I want to speak at. I want to do $1 Million Roundtable, and I want to do Thrive, and I want to do this conference, and I want to do Obsessed, and I want to do 8%, and I want to do this. I want to do this mortgage conference. And she worked backward from that to try to get me on those stages. Now we have incoming demand every day of people wanting me to speak at things. So now I have people calling in and they say, we want Coach Burt to speak. And then we start negotiating. Okay. And I'll talk about fees in a second. But we are actively going after stages. So you need a hit list. Every day you need to be calling on people. Hey, I'd love to speak on the stage. Hey, I got this topic. Hey, would you be interested in me doing this? Hey, I'll do a free coaching session for your people. Hey, I will do this. Remember, the largest contracts I've ever signed, guys, was from low ticketed engagements or speaking for free. Just remember that. Don't get caught up in how much they're paying you up front. Get caught up in, hey, this is going to put me. Now, I agreed to do something here in a few weeks in 3 different cities in Houston. Excuse me, 3 different cities in Houston, 3 different cities in Texas. They're only paying me $10,000 to do those 3 events, but they're going to put me in front of 1,000 insurance agents. And we have calculated that for every 200 people, it's worth about 70,000. So do the math on that. Could it be worth 350,000? That's a little on the high end, but could it be worth 200,000? Would you speak 3 times for $200,000? That's my question to you. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, it's going to be hard to get to. I got to fly in and out. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for people. I'm looking for people to get in front of. Okay. So you need a hit list. You're going after every day, presenting ideas. Hey, I'm Rocky Garza. I got a new concept out called Soul Shaker. And I got a great talk on it. I'd love to get in front of your group. I'll do it for free. You get there. Hey, if you like Soul Shaker today, I'm coaching 5 people. It's this price. Come see me when we're done. We'll get you signed up. You take that free event. Next thing you know, you make it 10, 15,000 bucks a stage. And that's how I would say it. Now, what are you selling? What are you selling? So I want you to think of it like this. I get on stages for these reasons. I'm selling energy. Some people say, man, I like the dude's energy. I'm selling structure. Hey, this guy's got a structure. He's got a selling system. He's got a follow-up. He's got extraction of referrals. So if you look at my website, go under the speaking page, it'll say, these are my most popular topics. These are my most popular topics. And I need to add Pray Drive to that, by the way. Lakin, remind me to add Pray Drive to my speaking page, how to activate the Pray Drive in you and your team, because that's the hottest topic I'm doing right now. Everybody wants that Pray Drive activated. Mindset, Pray Drive, systems, bigger think, pure motivation, techniques, how to make money. Okay, how to make money. If you study a guy like Cardone teaches sales, but every talk he's given now is about one thing, money. How to make more money. That's his whole message. Okay, so targeting stages. Here's the stages you want to speak on. Okay, here's the stages you want to speak on. You start building out your little champions list, a little list of people who can help you speak on that stage, right? Think about that, right? Here's a little stage, right, Jeff Jackson? Here's a little stage I want to speak on. Who can get me on that stage? They call them champions. Okay, so here's an example. I wanted to speak at the Carolina Mortgage Bankers Association. It's in a cool city. I've done it before. I liked it. I like going over to that area. And I started asking myself, who has influence on that stage? So I found out who the education director was. I called her. I said, hey, this is Coach Burt. I hope you're doing great. I spoke on the stage. I loved it. I got great reviews. I got a new message. I'd love to come back to the Carolinas. What's your criteria for putting people on stage? Well, this, and this. Great. Chelsea on my team is going to follow up with you. Stay right there in your face. I'm going to send you over my speaking page, my speaking reel. I'm going to send you my one sheet. I'm going to send you my website. We're going to hang in there with you 7 to 15 touches so we get on stage. Now, why would we want to do that? Maybe it puts us in front of 500 people. So that's an example, okay? Now, how much should you charge? How much should you charge? I'm going to give you some levels. 1, free. I'll speak for free if I can get in front of you people. This is a big trend right now in the country where they're not paying speakers, but they're giving you access to a lot of people. Number 2, I say it like this. I got a local, regional, and national fee. If it's within an hour, it costs this much. If it's 3 hours or more, it costs this much. If I got to get on an airplane, fly across the country, it costs this much. I got a local fee, I got a regional fee, I got a national fee. Only you can make up your mind what that is. I do stuff locally. I mean, I'll do stuff locally for $3,000, $5,000. Why? I can speak for 30 or 40 minutes for $3,000. I mean, that's a good deal. Then if I'm speaking on a big stage, I'll say my fee is $25,000. Now they may not have $25,000. They may say, "Oh my God, $25,000! Like there's no way we can pay $25,000." What could you pay? Well, I think we can get it to 15. Okay, let me take it to Coach Burt. Let me see if he's willing to do it. Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. So you got to start somewhere. Like my fee is this. If they balk on that, okay, how can we get a win for me? I like every person's email address. I want to offer something, a coaching program to each person. I want to do this. I want to do a VIP event. And anytime you're doing events, here's what I would tell you. Instead of speaking one time and then leaving, you need to speak, be at a VIP event, stay the next day, meet and greet people. That's when you're going to sell a lot right there, okay? So just don't miss that. So local, regional, national fees. And when I first started, I charged $350, guys, for 3 hours. I charged $350 for 3 hours. They said, "How much would it cost for you to speak for 3 hours?" I had no idea. I've been speaking for free. I said $350. Then I got up the courage to ask for $500. Then I got up the courage to ask for $750. Then I went to $1,000. Then went to $1,500. And we're working on a deal for me to go to London right now. I think for $50,000 for me to go to London, all expenses for $50,000. And we're working on a deal for me to go to South Africa for $55,000. Okay, and you know that's good money. So the size of the market determines the budget. Sometimes you say, "Hey, what is in your budget?" Here's a question I ask. "Jesse, what's the most money you've ever paid a speaker to do this?" I say, "Well, most money we've ever paid is $10,000. Okay, my fees are typically 25, but if you can get it to 10 and cover my travel, I'd be willing to come down and do this for you." Okay, now that's what I say. What's the most money you've ever paid a speaker? What do you have budgeted for the speaker? Okay, sometimes they'll say, "Well, we got to get 3 speakers," and I'll say, "What if I do two presentations? You only got to get 2 speakers. You ain't got to get 3. You give me and one other person." Okay, and we'll deliver double the value, or I'll do a special session for you, or I'll do a VIP, or I'll do a webinar afterward, right? So then once you speak, you got to push them to something. So I told you my products, 99 to 199, 399, 2083. Then I go up to a 40K level, 60K level, 100K level. And eventually I'm going to roll out a $500,000 level and a $1 million level. Okay. Now let's finish with this. Now take any questions that you have. I want to finish with from stage to scale. And what I mean by that is, let's say that James Hickman goes out and speaks, or Dean Aiken goes out and speaks. And let's say Dean Aiken says, "Look," or Jeff Jackson says, "Look, man, I don't want to coach all these people, Coach. Like it seems like a lot of work," and it is. Like I know signing people up at my 25K level, it seems like a lot of money, but then you got time, energy, coaching. Like, so I create a lot of events they can come to. Okay. I create events they can come to, and they can spend time with me, and they can spend time with other people. So that's the way we've tried to create that opportunity board. But you may say, "You know what? I don't want to do all that coaching." Then you're going to have to create a product and scale that product, meaning there's 50 people here, and I got a $997 online academy that you can purchase, and you can get everything that I would coach you on for $997 in this product over here. Okay. And if you're on the call tonight and you want your own online academy, like I have, there's a way for me to spin up a system for you, meaning you can have your online academy just like mine, for as low as $200 a month or $2 per user. I paid $25,000 for mine, but because of my status with Brad Lee, he's allowing me to what's called spin up a system, which means you piggyback off my system. There's nothing in your system that's got me in it. You got your own system. You put whatever you want in it. You sell whatever you want out of there. And you can do it for as low as $2 per user or $200 a month if you're interested in that. just reach out to Eric White or Lake at Hibden on my team and tell them you want to spin up a system. A lot of people like Hoss Pratt, who's a famous real estate coach, is spinning off a system. Jonathan Hawkins spin off a system off me. Jason Wheel, Cody Askins. These are all people that we're spinning off systems, meaning they got their own systems for no money down and a $2 per user, which is an incredible deal with Lightspeed, by the way. Okay, Lightspeed is an online virtual training platform that Brad Lee created. Now, stage to scale. First thing we got to do is got to get on stage. You need a hit list. You need a one sheet. You need a speaking video. You need a website. You need to reach out to these people. Second thing you need is you need a product that is in alignment with your talk. You need a product that is in alignment. This is a huge mistake I made, Kerry Jeffers, for years. I'd give a talk on this Ain't No Practice Live and offer a product on this. You need a perfect product to match the pitch. Like, I'm here today to teach you $1 Million follow-up. Okay? And if you're interested in going through my $1 Million follow-up online program, you can buy it today for $497. That makes sense? Like, I'm going to talk about it. If you like what I said, what do we say? Thank you. If you want more of what I said, here's what you can buy. This is my online product, and it's 6 hours of me breaking down $1 Million follow-up. And you can buy this today for $497. Okay? So my core product, you need a core product. My core product is my coaching program, Monster Producer. That's my core product. Now, this is very critical. That product can be absorbed online, through a virtual academy, or in person. So you say it like this: would you like to experience Micheal Cudbreth in person, or would you like to experience it online? Would you like to experience Ken Johnson in person? Would you like to experience online? Would you like to be in a room with Rocky Garza? Would you like to be on Zoom with Rocky Garza? Right? Now, when I say online, here's how I'm doing it. I'm teaching, and we are live streaming that through GoToWebinar. So Rocky's in Texas, and he can watch it, just like a church that's simulcasting. I chose to do that years ago when Grant Cardone said to me, quit selling locally. He's like, your market is planet Earth, coach. Your market is planet Earth. And I went back and I said, we're filming everything. We're going to live stream my coaching program around the world, and people everywhere can watch it. Okay? So that's how we're selling it. So that's my core product. Now, why do you need a core product? Because every talk I give, I could say, if you like what I heard, what you heard today, thank you. If you want more, sign up for my coaching program. And you can get it for $199, or you can get it for $399. If you want personal access to me, some of you are going to, today I'm taking 5 people only for my 25K and above level, guys. Come see me when we're done, because I'm only taking 5 of the 300 people here. These are the people who are serious about playing at a higher level. Okay? Now, once a person gets into Monster Producer, then I have other products. I have retreats. I have one-day intensives like me and Hank Norman, Baby Star to Big Star, $299, 2 for 1. What's my sole objective, Jesse Cole? My sole objective is to get 50 people in the room, 100 people in the room at $299, okay? Or let's say 50 of them paid. That's a $15,000 day. But here's what I know, Jesse. When they get in their room at that lodge and I'm coaching them on Baby Star to Big Star, they're going to say, sign me up for that $1 Million Coaching Summit, coach. And I want to go on a cruise with you. And I want to come to an event with you. And I want to go down to Florida to your house down there with you. And I want to get on that plane with you. Like what I believe is get people to a structure, let them experience it, get excited, and then have something else where they can get excited about it. That's the number one thing I learned by speaking at 10X, guys. Get them somewhere, give them something good, have something else for them to purchase. Okay, so my core products, Monster Producer, in person or online. Then I have the online academy. Then I have one-day events. Then I've got 2-day events. Then I got 3-day events. Then I got cruises, right? Then I got special events. All of these things are something that you could push people to in the future. So let's finish up this webinar. And thank you so much for joining me tonight, man. I have so much fun doing these. I get to do a lot of cool things in the world, but this is one of the coolest things I get to do, which is just teaching people this. If you're serious tonight about learning this, I'm gonna recommend 2 things. One, you come to Baby Star to Big Star with Hank Norman and I, September 13th, coachburt.com/Baby Star to Big Star. I think you need to seriously consider my $1 Million Coaching Summit. November 14th through the 16th. Some of you have already taken action on that. Jesse Cole, some of you that are on here, that's a $5,000 investment, but I'm telling you, you get me in a room with you for 2.5 days, and I'm going to show you how to take your message and make millions with it. And that's all I've been doing for the last 17 years, guys. That's all I've been doing is figuring this game out, okay? So those are two things I want to push you to. If you want more information, Laken Hibden is on with us tonight. Email her, laken@coachburt.com. That's Lake, like a lake, Laken, Laken, at coachburt.com, or Eric, if you like dealing with either one of those salespeople, then they can help you on this. So let me close with this. What's your message? Is it strong enough? Who is it for? Is it packaged up? Would you be willing to do it for free to get access to people? And what is the perfect product suite that you're going to sell to people? What is the perfect product suite that you're going to sell to people? And once you figure these things out, I'm telling you, you're on your way. First step is just getting on here with me tonight, guys. I know it was free, but you gave me your time, and that's valuable. So I want to thank you. My team wants to thank you. We will be calling on you. I just want to go ahead and let you know, we want a relationship with you. You need to have enough conviction to ask, I want to do business with you. I want to help you. I want to get you to a higher frequency. So thank you for everything tonight. Remember, Baby Star to Big Star, September 13th. Come in the night before, the 12th. Come in and spend a day with me and Hank Norman at the lodge. I promise you it'll be worth the $299. Bring a friend with you and look at my coaching summit, November 14th through 16th at the lodge. There'll be 50 people there, just like you. And we're going to work on speaking, coaching, training, leading. And when you leave there, my promise to you is you will have this package together. It also licenses you in my content, so you can go back to your market and teach my content for money. I don't get any of that money. It's all yours once you come and go through this 2.5 day training with me. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I hope you guys have a great night. It's been a great webinar. I appreciate you. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your whole life. And I appreciate you letting me be yours tonight. So you guys have a great night. If you have questions, shoot them to me at info@coachburt.com. Have a great night.